The dreams of 90% of Africans is to go to the European continent for greener pasture. Since getting a visa has become very difficult for Africans to Europe, some Africans seek an option B to go to Europe. This option B has cost thousands of Africans to the Mediterranean Sea. Who is to be blamed for this loss of manpower of Africans to the Mediterranean Sea? Good morning, distinguished listeners. This morning, I want to talk about illegal immigration of Africans to Europe. Illegal immigration has been defined by Wikipedia as the migration of people in violation of the immigration law of such country. I asked a question, and I said, who is to blame for the loss of vibrant African youth to the Mediterranean Sea? Before I lay a finger of blame to someone, we need to know the causes of illegal immigration of Africans to the Mediterranean Sea. The number one reason why Africans travel to the Mediterranean Sea is the abject poverty facing African continent. According to the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, more than 400 million of Africans cannot afford $2 a day to feed themselves. $2 may be small to some people, but this report says more than 400 million of Africans cannot afford this money to feed themselves. And if we have to blame ourselves, who are we going to blame for the poverty facing African continent? Some people cannot afford to eat one time in a day. For this, they are seeing what is happening in the television and internationally. So they prefer to take the risk of a journey of no return. It's either I get there or I perish in the sea. The second reason why Africans take the risk to travel to the Mediterranean Sea is the unemployment rate in Africa. To be candid with you, to get a job today, you need to pay money to some people for them to give you a job. I mean a decent job. If you cannot pay that money, you will remain jobless. With all your certificates, with all your experience, you cannot get a decent job in Africa if you don't have someone that knows someone that knows someone that will introduce you to someone. We have no one to be blamed if my brothers and sisters of Africa travel to the Mediterranean Sea. They have a reason to do so. The third reason why Africans take the risk to go on a journey of no return is for education. See, the quality of education in Africa is, I can say, it's poor. I'm sorry for this. You see, in Nigeria, there is a popular slang among youth in Nigeria. They say, permit me to say this word, education is scam. Because someone that did not attend the four corner of a classroom is living a fine life compared to someone that wastes his time to go to the university. So sometimes you ask yourself, why am I going to school? Why all these certificates? Because the government and our educationists, they are not giving us a transferable skill in our educational system. We go to school just to pass examination, not to have transferable skill that can make us stand on our own independently. See, as I said, we have many reasons why our brothers and sisters travel to the Mediterranean Sea. But let us analyze these three reasons I gave you. And you have no reason to blame them if they take the risk to travel through that route. I need to give you a solution to the problem I mentioned. If we truly want to curb this scenario in in Africa. The number one solution I suggest is all African nation leaders need to implement the Sustainable Development Goal 1, which says no poverty. We can implement this by establishing a poverty eradication scheme that will work for all nations in Africa. Why not empowering African youth to stand on their own? What is our leader doing on poverty? You see, they do policies that favor only the elites, forgetting the other citizens in the nation. The number two solution I propose is we should reform our educational sector, because it's like what our father were doing in the 1990s, in the 1960s. That's the same thing we are doing, and the world is changing. Why not implementing policies that will give us a transferable or entrepreneurial skill in our educational sector? The number three, because of my time, the number three solution is all African nations leaders need to implement the Sustainable Development Goal 8, which says decent work for all. If we all have decent work, we will have no reason to travel through the Mediterranean Sea. You and I can help this situation. We don't need to wait for the government to solve this situation. The way we can help this situation is to advocate against illegal immigration of Africans through the Mediterranean Sea. Truly, we want a better life for ourselves, but taking the Mediterranean Sea as an option is not welcome at all for all of us. Let's say no to illegal immigration in Africa. Thank you very much.